y'all, welcome back to another episode of Intimacy with God, the outlet.
Yes.
And today I have a special guest here.
Hi guys, I'm Ayrielle.
And how do we meet?
We met A-Life.
Yeah.
Instagram, A-Life, all that good stuff.
Yeah, y'all. So today she's here to bless you guys with her knowledge, her wisdom. So let's just jump right into it. What is your testimony?
I actually just got saved, like maybe I would say going on 2 years now, but it was just a journey because I went to church, I did the whole church thing my whole life. It was a regular thing, but I didn't know God for myself, and it took me going through a lot of things. I went through abuse, I went through like sexual abuse, I went through a whole lot of things, and it took me like that to realize that I needed God, and that was the only person that could save me from any of these things.
Right.
So it happened at the A-Life retreat, my first A-Life retreat, when I realized like, okay, like it's time to give my life over. And ever since then, like it hasn't been easy, but it's been better because
How many years?
That was last year's retreat, so I've been saved since then, like actually saved,
Yeah. Do you mean like saved as in like you were Christian before?
Yeah, I was Christian before, but now I know God for myself.
Yeah. Okay, so you have your own relationship.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. So describe your intimate relationship with God.
So it's hard right now because I try to get up in the mornings and just like try to dedicate like maybe an hour to my relationship with God. And it's just a quiet place. Sometimes it feels like it's just me talking, but I have to remind myself that it's a conversation and it's not, just me talking.
Right.
But it's just quiet, it's peaceful, and it's not the peace that I would get in the world, which is what I had to understand also. It's different. Like, I can't really even explain it. It's just, it feels good. It's the best feeling that I can, ever think of,
So do you do anything specific?
I put on this Tori Kelly song. I forgot, it's something. Always. Like, that's the first song that I put on to get me in, like, the posture to be with God.
Yeah.
And then I put on, like, Good Father. I'm just, yes, I'm really into, like, worship songs.
Yeah.
And it just gets me there, like, where I need to be. And then I'll listen to the songs first, and then I'll pick up my Bible, and I'll just start, like, flipping. I start in Psalms because it's songs, like, like, it's just easy for me to relate to it because I love worship.
Yeah.
So,
That's good.
Yeah.
So do you have any tips for anyone that's looking to build an intimate relationship with God?
Take your time. It's not going to be easy. A lot of times I felt like I was by myself, or it was on my own timing, and I had to cancel out all of those thoughts because, number one, he knows what's going on. He knows how everything is going to end before it even begins. He knows what you're going to choose. Like, he knows all of these things. So I just had to release my, like, worldly views and my worldly thoughts before, they even corrupted what God actually said about me and who I was and who I'm destined to be. So, yeah.
So did you ever have a scenario where you felt distant from God?
Yeah. It was maybe last year before I went on the retreat. I like was so ready to commit suicide. Like I was super depressed. I was so over it. Like I didn't see any type of light. I was just all the way in the dark. And I was just like, I would cry a lot. Like, I'm super emotional anyway. But I would cry, like, more than usual. And I didn't realize, well, now I realize, but tears are, like, a form of a prayer.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize I was praying. But even while I was going through, like, the deepest, darkest parts, I was crying through it, which was a form of prayer. And I just didn't really know how I was going to get out of it. Like, I couldn't see anything, and I knew God, and I knew about him and who he was and what he's done, but I was just like, how, like, this isn't helping me right now, like, what's going on? and the retreat was right after I almost committed suicide, and it was just like something grabbed me and like saved me, like literally. It was amazing. So yeah.
So do you have like any tips for someone that may have been going through or currently is going through that same exact thing that you were?
Yeah, I would definitely say talk to somebody. Number one, talk to somebody that you trust, and talk to somebody that knows God. Like, it's easy to speak about what you're going through with other people, but you need people that can see both sides, being like the spiritual side and the worldly side, because they'll be able to give you a different view on what you actually need to be doing.
Right.
Because a lot of times you might talk to somebody who's in the world and be like, yeah, like I'm going through this and I'm depressed, da da da. And then they'll probably just say like, oh, go to therapy, or oh, write it out. Like, the person that is spiritual is going to tell you to pray first, or have you prayed. Because that's one thing that got me through, like, all the way around. First, I didn't think my prayers were working, but every prayer that you pray, and it's from a good heart posture, like you actually, you know, need that healing, God hears it. Like, you know, he's hearing everything. So just take advice from the right people. Get out of your room, because I was stuck in my room for like ever. I stayed in the dark. Don't seclude yourself. It's not helping you. It's not helping anybody.
Right.
Yeah,
that's good. To build an intimate relationship with God, but it's like a constant roadblock. Something is there that's continuously telling them otherwise.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm just gonna relate it to my life, because like that's, you know, how I can do it. But I had a group of friends that I knew I needed to get rid of. Like,
I feel like we've all been there.
Yes. Like, I knew I needed to get rid of them, but they were just so fun. Like, it was lit every time I was with them, and I had a great time. I didn't feel so good after, but you know, I felt good during it.
Yeah.
And it was like I kept going to church and being that person, but then when I was with them, it was like day and night.
Yeah.
So I came to a point where I had to decide, do I want this to be my life?
Yeah.
Or like do I want to keep walking this line of like, yeah, I'm a Christian, but yeah, I still do this too, girl. Don't get it? Like, no.
Yeah.
You have to choose. Like,
there's no in the middle.
No. Like, it's a choice you have to make yourself.
Yeah.
And once God sees that you're making that choice, you're actively making that choice every day, it just gets easier, and people of God start coming around you so that you don't have to be around them.
Right.
But yeah, that was like the hardest thing I had to do.
I've definitely been through that same thing. It's like, you're comfortable though. It's like,
comfortable.
You've known them for X amount of years.
Yes.
I've been child friends with them.
Yes.
Like, all those
and that's another thing. History does not mean anything. On this walk with God.
Okay. Because your journey and their journey is two different things. Yeah.
And like, when God brings people, you know who's God ordained in your life. Like, you know, I mean, everybody comes in your life for a reason, and maybe it's to teach you a lesson. But when God brings people in your life, it's just like, it's undeniable. Yeah. And you're like, okay.
You definitely know. Like, yeah. So you would say, like, community is very important.
Definitely.
Godly community.
Definitely. You can't do this by yourself. Like, we weren't made to do it by ourselves.
I've been in a season where I thought that I was supposed to be doing this journey alone. Like, my friends all like scattered away. Like, I didn't even have to do the pushing away at that point. It's like they just left on their own.
Right.
But now I know it was
and God. That's another blessing.
Like, I'm like,
he'll just kick people off.
Yeah, I'm just like, my feelings are hurt right now because we've been friends for so long. So then I started to think, like, you know what? I really feel like when you're Christian, you're supposed to be doing this on your own, because there isn't nobody else here. Like, all my old friends and people that I used to be with are not Christians, so that means it's just me. Right. And then it's like, months passed by. I feel like it was just God wanting me to be content with him.
Yes.
And content knowing that he's the only person that I could be going to and not the friends. Because when something goes wrong, the first person that I go to is like my closest homegirl or somebody that I knew for years, like my day one. Like things that we say like that when God essentially is here to carry those burdens for us.
Right.
So I really feel like that happened for us to be dependent on him. But we're not made to be doing this journey alone, like at all.
Not at all.
It's so essential to have that godly community, especially for accountability.
Yeah.
And all that stuff.
But,
so I know some people also have questions on like what prayer and worship looks like. How would you describe that?
Like just for me or like in
for community? You, yeah.
Prayer and worship for me, they just both kind of go together. They can't be separated. Like in worship you should be praying. And worship is a prayer technically, because you're just singing to, you know, your father. My father, our father. But you know, like I love worship. Like I don't know what it is, it just always gets me to where I need to be. Like it gets my heart posture ready to receive or give out whatever I need to give out. Like it just gets me ready to just be there and be present with God. And it's just, you can't ever take those moments for granted. Like ever. Like any time that you get to experience that level of like intimacy with God, and that's when I experience it the most in worship. I lose it. Like I'm somewhere else.
Right.
Like it's crazy.
So have you been in a point where it was like you never thought that you would be your heart would be that transformed? Like if that makes sense.
Yeah. Like it makes a lot of sense. But yeah, like I think about it all the time because it's been a short amount of time, and that's the thing. Like on people's walks with God, it could either take 5 years, it could take 5 months, it could take 5 days. Like it does not matter when you start. It just matters that you started, and that you're committed, and that you know who you're serving. Like once you get that done, it's just I can't even really explain it. It's crazy. Like I've changed as a person. I'm matured spiritually and in the world, just because I understand that this is not like, you know, my end. Like I'm here for a reason, and the things that I do are not about me. And I'm thinking about like the generations ahead of me and my kids and my kids' kids. Like so like I'm trying to break things down now so they don't have to deal with that. Like it's so much that we have to do, but it doesn't seem like it, because like when you know God, you just become a selfless being. Like and it just becomes easier because you know, like it's not resting on you, it's on him. You know. So
that's so true that you brought that up. Like it's never about us, and we start to feel like because we're a Christian, like this journey is all about us, but essentially like we're here to help other people. So it's like it's, and then even if it's always about somebody else on this journey. Like how can you minister to someone else? How can you break those generational curses for your future kids and your grandkids, and like let go of the family lines of poverty and all those things that sometimes we don't usually think about. So what are you doing currently?
Abuse is like a huge thing in my family, and you know how like black families, they don't really talk about things. Like I'm trying to break that. Like
we need that.
We gotta get out of that because I didn't even realize my mom and like, you know, my aunts, people in my family that are so close to me have been through what I've been through in college, which was abuse, whether it was physical or mental. Mental abuse is the same thing. Don't let nobody tell you it's different, because that messes with your mind. And once you think and like realize everything is a spirit, things just get easier and you're able to call things out as they are. I recently just told my mom actually what I've been through in college, because she had no clue.
She didn't know.
And I was just kind of numb to it, but I just needed to tell her so that I could address the generational factor that it had in it, you know? And I had to let her know this is not gonna run in my house. Like this is not happening, because I just want my kids to be comfortable and be open enough to come to me, or like just ask God to like give me that wisdom to know if something like that is happening or like that type of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, like everything is really alcoholism, drugs, all of that is a spirit, all of that is generational. And a lot of people don't understand that it's not you. Like, it's not a you thing. Like, this is something that the devil is trying to carry down in your family.
Right.
Like, and once you realize something like that, you have to actively stop it.
Yeah.
So that means, like, stop being around the people that do that, or stop getting around that guy, even though he does this for you. It don't matter. It does not matter. Like,
your relationship with God, because that should be number one.
Yes.
And I always speak about, it's just so crazy, like, how things happen, because before, like, my older sister, she's a pastor, she would try to like tell me these things back then, and then it was just like, you don't know what she's talking about,
right? And it's like people try to warn you, but there are some things you have to go through yourself
to actually fully get
but at the same time, it's things that you can avoid. So like just asking God for that wisdom on like what to say, like when that time comes, or if you see somebody that's going through something like that, asking God for that wisdom on what to say to them. That's what I've been asking for, because I feel like that's gonna be something that's my calling. Like, because the things that you go through are gonna make you, you know, who you're supposed to be.
I feel like oftentimes God turns our pain into passion, and what burdens us into what is gonna be in our testimonies. So like half of the times that, well, all of the times that we share what we go through to people, or we're trying to consult them based off of our own experiences, not on things that we've learned, but things that has happened to us, therefore that it's more relatable and it's easier to understand. But spiritual thing, like we see it all the time, like even like the divorces and like one family households, like that's society normalizes that. It makes it seem like we're supposed to, like, one black woman especially, let's just say that black women are usually single women, single mothers, and it shouldn't have to be like that. We were designed to have a husband in the household, and kids need a father. Like, it's like I can't even preach that enough, like how much kids need a father, and how much it impacts them, especially younger girls. Is understand what people don't see, but then it's just like, you don't know what you don't know. So, like, and
that's another thing. Like, society has just made this world into something totally different than what it was supposed to be. Like, social media is just number one. Like, a mess. Everybody is a mess. High key. Like, I'm so close to pressing that X on my Instagram.
And like deleting the whole thing. It's just like,
it's too much. It's like overload, and I can't. If it's overload for me, I can't imagine somebody younger than me. Black girls younger than me. Like, I'm scared. But you know, all we can do is like pray about it and pray that they know that this is a joke. Like, that's all we can do. But like, it's like manifesting. It's so crazy.
And I feel like people like live off of. This video had just like took a big turn, but like this means that this was supposed to be talking about. But I feel like people go on social media and use it as a, like, when it comes to God, ideally, like,
oh my God,
people use it as just a topic, I guess. Like, I don't feel like they truly, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like people use God as just one of their sayings for whatever they say. So half of the time I don't know if they're talking about a worldly God, I don't know if they're talking about Jehovah God, I don't know if they're talking about whatever else.
It's a lot of confusion. That's what it is. Like, because I've seen people say like, oh my God, thank you Jesus for another day, and then post about their horoscope the next day. Like,
who's she coming for? She coming.
We can't do that.
Yeah, you can't.
Like, we can't knowingly do that. And that's on my Instagram. I don't know about you, but like my Instagram is like mixed. So like I have like half the world and half like Christians. Like
I will scroll, see one Christian, then I'll see non-Christian. One Christian, non-Christian. Like,
that's how my Instagram is. So I'm constantly like, okay, what are you posting?
Right.
What are you putting out there? It's not just a reflection of you. Like, now people know who you serve. Like, so you can't be out here acting crazy.
Right.
And saying, you know, this is my horoscope for the day, but bless the Lord.
Right.
No. Like,
it's not how it goes.
That's not a thing. It just can't be a thing.
Yeah,
like,
I feel like there's a lot of misleading, and
yeah,
and a lot of people are following. I do see a vast majority of people like recognizing who Jesus is, but at the same time, I feel like the people who are recognizing who Jesus is are, maybe they aren't just being taught the right way and they're receiving the wrong doctrines, but it's like they have an influence on social media. Yes, they have all these followers, whatever, and I'm glad like y'all recognizing who Jesus is because you're spreading it for the millions of followers that you do have. But at the same time, it's where it comes misleading is when I see like, and I'm not trying to like judge anybody because, you know, like we've all been there and stuff, and I know that it's just our duty to like pray for them and pray that they get that healing that they need so they don't have to spread those misleading topics to people. But I see it all the time where people just preach about what God is doing for them and how much they love him, and then like literally the next snap after that they're like either in a bar getting drunk with their friends, and what they would say, I see it a lot. Like they were a group of friends in like a bar or like hookah lounges or whatever, and they're just like releasing however I'm feeling right now, like whatever, and I'm just like, but you just said that. Right. Right. So
that's, you know what, do you know why?
No.
She has like a highly favorite. She got me together on this, and she probably gonna watch this, but like she got me together because I told her I'm gonna commit to God, but it was events that I had paid for to go to, and it was right after the retreat. It was like right after, like it was a test, I know now, but I wasn't going. I mean, I wasn't not gonna go because I had paid my money. I was like, okay, sis, like I gotta go. But those were like the worst 4 or 5 events I've ever been to.
Really?
Only because I knew I wasn't supposed to be there. Like, I got convicted. That's another thing. Conviction will get you.
Yes.
Like, when you're really on that walk with God, and like you're on that line, and it's like, okay, like I need you to commit, but you want to still play.
Right.
I was sitting in that club, sitting there just like shaking my head. Like, I was drinking, I was doing all of that, but I wasn't drunk. Like, I wasn't getting anywhere, I wasn't doing anything, I was just miserable. Yeah. Conviction. Like, you will be hurt sitting where you sit, and if you choose that instead of choosing God. And she was the one that told me, she was like, you gotta let that go. Like, you just gotta chill out, you gotta let them go, that life go. Like, and I was just like, I know, but I don't know how to, you know, trying to make it something that it wasn't. Right. Wow. Girl,
that's good.
They left though. Like, you know, everything is just moving according to plan, like according to his plan, right? Because it was no way I could have you know, removed them myself. Like, it's just things that are happening that I know. It's like, you know, you can see it, it's like, okay, that's God, like, right? Let me just leave that, let me chill out, okay? Right? And now I don't even have that desire anymore. Right. Like, those things don't taste good to me,
right? And it's so crazy. I was just talking about this with my friend the other day, like, back then, like a couple months ago, like my go-to, which was so bad because it's just like I don't know what I was thinking, but like, saved in August of last year. So from August to December, it was so hard for me to stop smoking weed. Like, so hard. I tried, and it's not even like I felt like it was an addiction at that time, because I could stop whenever I wanted to, but at the same time it was like, for what? Right. So I didn't want to at that time. So it started to become like times like I'm like, all right, so Sundays when I go to church, because I started going to church back last year, so I said Sundays when I go to church, no smoking on Sundays. Okay. So it became like something like, no, Sundays is my holy day. Right. But then Monday morning comes around, and it's just like a total different thing. So it was now becoming like I'm living in the middle. Right. Like, I'm preaching.
And I'm sorry.
It's okay.
After a while, you start to feel like dirty.
Yeah.
Like doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like double dipping and
like you think you hide him behind God's back, but he's seeing it.
No. Like he sees, like he's up there. Like he can see everything.
Right. He's seeing it all happen.
So like, yeah, every time I would do something, I would just automatically after, I would just feel like,
yeah, why did I do that? Like, come on. I feel so sick to my stomach afterwards. And it was just becoming so bad, like, as the months go on. And it was, like, November now. And I was just, like, I was still going to Scythes. I was still doing all these things. And then it was this one time, like, I was in a Scythe. And I literally heard God tell me, like, I'm using this moment for the wrong reason. Like, I'm here smoking with them when I could be ministering to them. And then,
that's deep.
And it's crazy because those same people that was at the site recently came to me, like, probably like 3 weeks ago. I was talking with one of them, and she was like on the verge of committing suicide.
Wow.
And, like, I was like on the phone praying with her and all that stuff, and she was literally telling me, like, I'm the only person that she ever knew that's so wise. And I'm just like, well, it's not me, because like God is telling me like what to say to guide this conversation. But it's just like, if only I listened then. It's just like,
but you still obeyed it. That's the thing. And God will take those people that he's taking you away from and turn them right around when they need you. That's the that's the thing. Like, and you can't be so caught up in oh my God, I'm gonna miss this, or oh my God, I need to be here because it's the last party, or it's her birthday. No, like, let that go. Do what God is telling you to do, because they're all gonna come back around. And if they don't come back around to you, they're gonna have to come back to God. Like, and that should be your ultimate goal for everybody in your life. Like, if they don't know God, let them experience him for like themselves, you know? Like, and that's where I'm at right now. Like, I just want everybody to see what I'm seeing or feel what I'm feeling when I'm with God, because it's unlike anything in this world. Like, everything that we're going to, like, as like young adults is like temporary fillers, basically. Like the drinking, the drugs, the sex, all of that stuff is like temporary pleasure. Like, with God, it's like nothing is temporary. Like, nothing. Like, he knows exactly what he's doing. If you're happy, if you're sad, those are just emotions. Like, the joy that you're gonna get from him is like forever. Like, that's eternal. Like, and you're gonna, not to say you're not gonna have bad days, and you know, you're still gonna go through life because we're here, but just knowing that you serve somebody that's not even here, that's been through this, and that has your story already written, you just gotta remind yourself about that every day, because that's what gets me through. Because this world can pull a lot out of you and just try to make you into like an evil person, or you know, whatever they want you to be. And you have to remember that, like, God describes you. Like, you know, like, nobody in this world can describe you but God. And like, it's just amazing.
That's so good. My gosh, like, I know that this video is about to bless somebody, because these are just things that are going on, the real things that are behind like the Christian community. Like, this is actually going on, all these spiritual attacks, all these generational curses, and finding the fulfillment in people. And that's a very common thing, whether it's through a spouse, a guy or a girl that you're talking to. It's sometimes even for a father figure, a mother figure. And it's like, even when we're searching and we're just constantly dibble-dabbling into all these people, it's like we still are not finding that full fulfillment, because it's only in the one true God. So that's all, y'all. This is so good. Thank you for coming. That this video blesses you all, and if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and